Hey folks, welcome back to Ndaba Africa. This is Chris. Well, Ace is the place with the helpful hardware man. Well, so the jingle goes here in the U.S., but that's not what we're talking about today. What's the subject of today's video? Well, one Elias Sekubelo Magashule, or Ace Magashule, who is set to appear in court in the Free State on the 19th of February 2021 over corruption allegations. An arrest warrant was issued for him back in November 2020, and he is set to appear in court. So what? Another corrupt South African. Well, this corrupt South African is the sitting Secretary-General of the African National Congress. Yep, currently Secretary-General of the ANC since December of 2017. Now, this man has done nothing. If you look at his CV, he's done nothing other than sponge off of the taxpayer since 1994. Like most of the ANC's permanent political class, their claim to fame is sucking you dry and destroying your economy, the social fabric of your nation, as they take their turn at eating. Now, Ace Magashule has been repeatedly accused of corruption since at least 2011. A couple of the more prominent corruption cases he's been involved in are accused of malfeasance, while premier of the Free State include the Vreda Dairy Project. This was a public-private venture with a black economic empowerment company called Estina, who was given a lease on a farm for 99 years, free of charge. No charge for the lease given to this black economic empowerment company. He's also been he's also been linked famously to the Guptas and is accused of funneling 220 million rand to them. Unfortunately, this case didn't go anywhere because authorities in India would not cooperate with investigators in South Africa. So that one's fallen off the table. However, on the 10th of November 2020, the Hawks, that's the sad excuse to replace the former Scorpions, but the Hawks, the Special Investigative Law Enforcement Unit, issued a warrant for his arrest on the 10th of November 2020 in relation to another scam, 255 million rand for an asbestos audit contract, which has got him in hot water at the moment. Now, if you think that maybe just Ace is being unfairly persecuted, as I said, the man has lived off the government teat since 1994. But beyond that, he's also not a very nice fellow. Even his own party condemned him and accused him of racism when in 2019, in the build-up to the national elections, he told voters not to waste your vote on the white man. Racist much? If you want to learn more about Ace Magashule and his fascinating, interesting, gangster-like behavior, you can read Peter Louis Myberg's 2019 book entitled Gangster State. It's available for sale in South Africa if you're there. Now, why are we talking about Ace? Well, aside from the fact that he's set to appear before the court for his purported or accused crimes, he is also now the subject of an effort to get rid of him within the African National Congress. Wow, it only took them 27 years to get rid of this corrupt, nasty, race-spewing clown. But the African National Congress's National Executive Committee on Valentine's Day, no less, was working, and they established guidelines that state that party members who are in conflict with the law, let's see what that means. Will that include a certain former mayor of Durban, accused of pervasive corruption, facing charges, out on bail, reappointed to the provincial legislature? Will that include her? But any member in conflict with the law must step aside. That was on Valentine's Day. Wow, that's a lovely thing. And also long overdue. It only took the ANC 27 years and 3 years since Sir Ramaphosa came to power to actually begin to take steps to punish those within its ranks. It has long had disciplinary measures against its members, but it's refused to follow through on them. And why might that be? Well, in no small measure, that's because the African National Congress is no longer the Party of Liberation, no longer the Rainbow Nation Party, no longer a party committed to the economic and social advancement of all South Africans. It is a party that has allowed an amalgamation of racist and venal, corrupt thieves to ascend to far too many positions of prominence within the party, and they can no longer cover it up. They can't hide it. The party is split almost evenly, with probably more of the criminals and racists on one side than the other, but almost evenly with the faction that supports Ramaphosa. Many of them support him lukewarm. They barely supported him when he was elected in 2017 to be the head of the African National Congress. And the other side, which is the die-hard ardent supporters of the Zuma faction, which is the administration that introduced the concept of state capture to South Africans. Now, it already existed. The term comes from Central Asia, but it was perfected in South Africa under the Zuma government. Now, the problem with all this, folks, is that this party has been on the verge of fracture since Ramaphosa and Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma contended for the presidency of the African National Congress back at that party conference in 2017. Of course, Jacob Zuma resigned, and Cyril Ramaphosa became president of South Africa on the 15th of February 2018. He's now been president for 3 years. We've seen 0 prosecutions for criminal behavior. And not only that, but we've seen endless racialization of society by no less than even the president himself, Jacob Zuma. So you couldn't be, or not you, sorry, Cyril Ramaphosa. President himself, Cyril Ramaphosa. I keep falling in the habit. I keep saying Jacob Zuma is so used to him having been there for so long. But how can you expect the party to expel someone who spews racism in the midst of a national election like Ace Magashule, saying, don't waste your vote on the white man, when the sitting president himself is also someone who commits actions like this? Famously in 2020, during a televised national address, he told the country that white people, by their nature, are racist. And that's why we have gender-based violence in South Africa. What? Never mind the ludicrous position that toddlers, white toddlers in their creche, could be responsible for the behavior of white, black, or brown men beating and attacking women. No, ludicrous. The entire phrase was nothing but racist drivel. And it's a president of a country spewing race mercantilism. Yes. But see, when it comes to corruption and rooting out corruption, which is what the National Executive Committee appears to be trying to do now, belatedly, long after the state capture era began, and 3 years into the so-called anti-corruption presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa, they have no credibility. They also are a very weak party and on the verge of fracturing. We see all sorts of machinations going on with economic freedom fighters and disgruntled former ANC Youth League leader Julius Malema meeting with former President Jacob Zuma, and then also a group of 25 Mkhonto we Sizwe leadership veterans meeting with Zuma for 7 hours. And now 200 members of the veterans organization deployed their soldiers to ensure the police do not arrest Jacob Zuma for failure to appear before the Zondo Commission. Folks, it's unraveling fast in South Africa, and it's a bit frightening. It's a bit frightening. We've seen this movie before in KwaZulu-Natal back in the early 1990s when the ANC murdered and attacked Inkatha Freedom Party supporters. And of course, then they in turn returned the favor. This is ugly, ugly situation. While the ANC racializes everything, blames white South Africans for their failures, and makes comments about supposed non-existent threats from the extreme right, the threats to South Africa's public safety come from the left and from within the ANC itself and its fellow travelers for at least half the party in the Economic Freedom Fighters, who have exhorted their followers to domestic terrorism, attacking click stores, destroying 44 of them, including using a petrol bomb, a Molotov cocktail against one of them, intimidating customers, exhorting their followers to burn the board down, leading within 48 hours to the arson attacks in the Free State, 92,000 hectares destroyed, serious damage to livestock, life, property. No consequences. And that's just the EFF. We could talk about the ANC for a long time. Well, folks, Ace Magashule, is he on the way out? Is he in jeopardy? Is he in trouble? Well, I would say don't hold your breath. The National Executive Committee will play around with these guidelines for weeks or months before they make them enforceable, as they try to see if Ramaphosa has the support and strength to survive a no-confidence vote, which I predict is very near in the future from within his own party. Yep, folks, there you have it. So if you're not subscribed to Chris White Africa, why don't you become one? Learn more about the machinations of politics in South Africa, events across Africa, politics of the USA, and, hey, keep up on rugby, as well as promotion of languages like Setswana, Basotho, and Afrikaans. Become a subscriber. Toggle the bell icon. Make sure you say all notifications. Keep your app open. You'll get notified when my streams and videos come up. And finally, give us a like. Likes drive viewership, and we're looking for viewers to spread the word. Thanks a lot for your time, for your patience, and for your patronage and custom. Take care.